Hello. Today we're going to create something like this, which is using a clipping mask. So what I'm going to ask you to do is open up the two files that I put on Canvas. One is just the fire JPEG and the other is water drops. And we're going to start with the fire up in front. Resizing things here, you can Command plus to zoom in, Command minus to zoom out, and Command 0 to make it fit your screen. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go to our text tool. T is the keyboard shortcut. And I want you to navigate here to Impact. Impact is a nice thick font. I'm not quite sure of the font size yet, but we'll keep it where it is. I do want you to make sure that this is set to smooth. This is called anti-aliasing, and it's a smoothing of the edges. And we can go with centered here. And I want you to click in this color swatch. Yours might be black or white. Click in that and then just pick a mid gray. We're going to change it later. It doesn't really matter, but a mid gray will be good. Okay. Then I'm going to just click inside and I'm going to turn on my caps lock and I'm going to type in Phoenix. I type in Phoenix. I still am in the text tool. If I move my cursor outside a little bit, I can move this wherever I want. And I am going to commit this edit. I'm going to come right up here to this little check mark right here and click that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to resize this. And the easiest way to resize things is with Command T. That's free transform. And I'm just going to drag out a corner to make this quite a bit larger. Maybe something like that. And also you see I have my guides, so it snaps to the center point. And I'm going to keep it right about there. Then I'm going to come back up here and hit this check mark to commit that edit. You can see down in our layers that we now have the text and the background, Phoenix and background. If you have any other ones, click it and drag it into this little trash can to trash that. We're going to add a layer style now. So I'm going to click on this FX down here and go to bevel and emboss. I want to always move this away from what I'm putting a bevel and emboss on so I can see what I'm doing. And I want you to come over here to these sliders and we're going to change the size. I'm actually going to highlight that and put in 10. And we're going to also change the depth right up here. And you can see what this does to it because you should have preview turned on here. But you can see what this does to it. I'm going to go up around 270. This shading angle part of it, I want this to be down below to 90 or 100, negative 80, 90, something like that would be good, just so it's underneath. And that is putting that angle right down here. Okay. The next thing is I'm going to click on the highlight mode. So I'm going to click in here. It brings up my color picker. I'm going to turn off my caps lock. And then I get this eyedropper tool and I can choose a color that I want. I'm going to choose kind of a warm yellow tone. Maybe something like that. We can see what this is doing right here. It's changing this color underneath. Okay. So I want that, like the flames are reaching this. Then I'm going to change my highlight mode. I'm going to click in that color swatch. I'm just going to come into the blue areas here. I'm going to pick a deep blue. And again, you can see where this is. It's like a blue of a fire for this one. Okay. I'm going to hit OK to get out of that. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put a mask on this. It's called a clipping mask. I'm sorry, it's called a layer mask. This one's a layer mask. So I'm going to click here and you can see it's added this white layer mask. White means it's not hiding anything yet. And then I'm going to come over to my gradient tool. It's this one right here. The keyboard shortcut is G. And I need to make sure here that I have this black, I have black to white, black over white. If you don't have that, that means that your foreground and background colors are not black over white. So hit D on your keyboard or click here to bring that back to black over white. Come back up into my gradient and click this first one. This one's called foreground to background. I'm just going to click out of that. These others should be all the same. It should be 100% opacity. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor right underneath my text. I'm going to hold down Shift because this will give me a straight line. I'm going to drag this up probably close to the top. And you can see what it does then. It masks, it hides away the bottom of that text. Now, if I did want to change just that, I can easily do it by unlocking the text from the layer mask. And I'm on my layer mask now, selected. If I go to my move tool, now when I move it, I'm actually moving my layer mask. Anyway, I'm going to keep it about the same. Then I'm going to relock that up over here. If you don't like the way it looks, you can always Command Z until you get it back and just do it again. Next, I'm going to open up my water drops. And I'm on my move tool now. I'm going to click and drag anywhere in that image up to my fire. Then I need to drag it down and let go. Okay, so now it's right over the top. And what I'm going to do with this clipping mask is put these water drops inside of the text. I'm going to cover that up. Then I can come over here to my layer and I can, I think it's right here, yes, create clipping mask. Okay, different shortcuts of doing it. This is the easiest way. Just click here and create the clipping mask. That puts that those water drops into the text. I can still move those water drops around however I want because it's just it's clipping into that text. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go back to my text tool. I'm going to use impact again, but right now I'm just going to decrease that size a little bit. I don't know, for this one, maybe mid-90s. I want to make sure that I do not click into my Phoenix text. I'm going to go down below here, click, and I'm going to type in smaller case rises from the edges. I'm going to hit the check mark to commit that edit, go back to my move tool, and I'm going to move it over here. Now I want this rises from the ashes to be the same width, length as Phoenix. So I'm going to Command T, free transform. I'm going to grab this mid handle and it'll snap, and then this one and it will snap. And so now it's the same size. This time I'm going to, I guess that size is pretty good, so I'm okay with that. I'm going to make this an outer glow. I'm going to give this an effect of outer glow. And for this outer glow, I'm going to bring my opacity up to maybe around 80 to 90. I'm going to increase my size. Take a look at this. It depends on the image resolution. I'm going to go around 20, and I think for this image about 20 in the spread should be good too. Now I'm going to click right in here in this color swatch, and again I'm going to take my cursor inside and I'm going to pick a color from the image itself. I can change this later on. I'm going to try to get a kind of a bright yellow, see what that looks like. Then I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click OK again. Now, there's two things here, right? On this text layer, opacity and fill. What's the difference? Opacity takes the opacity of the whole layer down. Fill will just take the opacity of what's inside this text down. Take that all the way down to 0. So it looks something like this. And then with my move tool, I can kind of move this around. If some of the letters are not showing up, you can come back into your double click where it says outer glow, come back into that layer style, click in that color swatch, and maybe grab a different color that makes that text pop a little bit more. And you can also then increase the size, the spread and the size. I think that spread should be down. The size can come up a little bit. That looks kind of cool. Okay. I want you to save that then as a PSD file and submit that to Canvas. And then I want you to find 2 different images and do it again with 2 different images. Now, here I chose a desert. You can choose whatever you want. Doesn't matter. I'm more interested in the technique. And then I chose ocean. And then I ended up with something like this. So give it 2 lines. This one would be more like an advertisement also. I want you to be creative with your text, your first line and your second line. Kind of the same as with this, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. This is just give me H2O, quench your thirst. And then submit this one also. Okay, good luck with that. I'll be around during this period if you need to come back to Zoom. Have a good day.